Hey, look. Labels blowing up my line, it got me missing calls. Told her you ain't gotta hit me till you licking. Feel like ZVF, baby, I be cooler than the mink weather. Make a Coke bottle, give me brain till I think better. Back up on my again, hanging out with Benjamin. Franklin got me stankin' in the Lincoln, talking dividends. Look at what we did again.
Brother DMG the poet. Y'all know what it is. Before we get into our spiel, I gotta do my spiel. Let me say God bless to all my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. I want to say Shalom or Shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. I want to say Assalamu Alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI. I want to say Islam to all my Moorish brothers and sisters. I want to say peace to all my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. I want to say what's up to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. Salute to all my atheist brothers and sisters. What's up to all my Abo brothers and sisters. Big what up to all my Naga brothers and sisters. Last and certainly not least, I want to say Jambo to all the rest of my brothers and sisters all throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you. And I hope that you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity. And guess what, family? As hard as it may be, we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. With that being said, family, let's get into it.
I brought that with me. Case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my daddy. Know how I'm coming. And they know what we had. Around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. Cause my young hitter might go in. Uptown GN. Working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out. Cause all of my hitters too deep in. With the boy, I'm so shame. Ain't worried about long as my money and my green. Baby, I ain't got work tomorrow. Tell me what the business is. Ain't about no club hop. I'm trying to start some businesses. Shorty, you thought it was, they better know it's not that. Talking all that online, they knowing that it's not fact. Sliding through my hood, I make maneuvers like a Uber, baby. Got a 10-year plan, these can't tell what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that Henny fluid. Young middle Mad Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that lead before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shawty dick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair. Boy, we grew in there. Around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. Cause my young hitter might go in. Uptown GN. Working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out. Cause all of my hitters too deep in. Tell them no stress, no biggie. Baby, I'm just too jiggy. Better know I brought that with me. Case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my daddy. Know how I'm coming. And they know what we had.
in cold running water, baby. Hey man, like we take a lot of stuff for granted that like a lot of people, mothers and fathers, never mind grandparents, that was amazing for them to have hot and cold running water. And we up here like straight taking that kind of stuff for granted. She say they had hot and cold running water, baby. Hey, every time I hear that, I be thinking about my grandmother. But that being said, hey, listen, I'm not here to offend nobody. I'm not here to upset nobody. Surely somebody will be one, maybe even both of those things. That's not my goal. I'm here to simply edutain. I'm here to entertain and educate. So if you take any negative sentiments away from anything I do on this channel, know that it wasn't intentional unless I say it is. So if you are an op of mine, like if you run your mouth about me, no matter how much I make your name taste like vomit in my mouth, then if I say something about you, it's probably intentional. If you run your mouth off about me when I barely even acknowledge your existence, and if you cease to exist, it would not move me in the slightest. If I say something about you, it's probably intentional. But other than that, if you get triggered, that don't mean I'm holding a gun. I swear I'm putting that on the t-shirt, because it's not my intent to trigger nobody or to upset nobody. So I'm just letting everybody know off top. If that's what happens, whether it be in this video or future videos, it wasn't intentional. So start with that. So let's see if we can get into this thing, man. This is one that is near and dear to my heart, so to speak. I think because this brother who wrote this book, Is God a White Racist, was once on the precipice of unbelief, and then he made his way back to being a believer. His story is similar to that of myself. So kind of getting my hands on his book and seeing some of the critiques he had at the time was really introspective for me, because it resonated with me. Just even some of the questions I had. And so when I found out he came back around to being a believer, but still had some of the same questions and critiques that he had before, because he never denied the existence of God, I was like, okay, this just got even more interesting. So y'all try to bear with me as I work my way through this this thing. I'm okay, nah, no more time. I was about to say I'm having technical difficulties, but I figured it out. All right, here we go. All right, let's get into this presentation. Exploring Black suffering and divine justice. An analysis of William R. Jones' Is God a White Racist? A Black existentialist perspective on Black liberation theology. Let's go. Introduction. My opening statement is this. The question of God's role in Black suffering has haunted generations of African Americans, particularly in the context of systemic racism and oppression. Thesis statement. William Mark Jones, Is God a White Racist? Challenges traditional theodicies by questioning whether the Christian God perpetuates or justifies systemic racial oppression. This presentation examines Jones's arguments through the lenses of Black existentialism, theology, and liberation ethics. Key topics. Number one, overview of theodicy and Black existentialism. Number two, Jones' critique of traditional theodicies. Number three, examination of divine justice in the context of Black suffering. Number four, practical and philosophical implications of faith and activism. Theodicy and Black existentialism. Defining theodicy, the attempt to reconcile the existence of a just and omnipotent God with the presence of evil and suffering. Black existentialism focuses on the lived experiences of Black people, particularly under systemic oppression. It challenges the notions of universal justice in favor of contextualized liberation. The central question, can a God who allows racial oppression and Black suffering be considered just? William R. Jones' central argument, core thesis, traditional Christian theodicies fail to address Black suffering, suggesting that God's inaction in the face of racial oppression aligns him with the oppressor. Provocative question. Is God a white racist, meaning complicit in the perpetuation of white supremacy? Two key challenges. Number one, the inadequacy of theodicy to explain racial suffering. The moral and practical implications of divine inaction for Black liberation. Critique of traditional theodicies, starting with free will defense. Jones argues this defense is inadequate for explaining systemic historical racial oppression. Example, the transatlantic slave trade as a deliberate human choice, but under divine allowance. Soul-making theodicy, suffering as a means of spiritual growth. Jones critiques this as dehumanizing and dismissive of the dignity of Black lives. Implication, traditional theodicies prioritize abstract moral principles over the lived realities of oppressed communities. Divine justice and Black suffering. The historical context, chattel slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, police brutality, and mass incarceration as evidence of systemic ongoing oppression. Lack of divine intervention raises questions about God's commitment to justice. Key question, does God permit systemic racism because it serves as a greater purpose, or is he indifferent to Black suffering? Theological response, Jones suggests that a God who is indifferent to Black suffering is morally suspect and challenges Black faith communities to reconsider their reliance on divine justice. A human-centered response. Humanocentric theism. I probably said that wrong, but y'all let me know in the comments. Jones proposes shifting the focus from divine intervention to human agency. Liberation comes not through waiting on God, but through collective action and empowerment. Rejection of passivity, faith that waits for God's justice can become complicit in oppression. Key insight: humanity must take responsibility for confronting and dismantling systemic racism. Implications for Black faith and activism. The role of the church transitioned from a theology of waiting to a theology of action. The church is a center for social and political mobilization, faith and liberalization. Faith should inspire action rather than resignation, aligning religious practices with the goals of justice and equality. The power of collective agency. Black communities must reclaim their autonomy and reject theological narratives that perpetuate victimhood. And that was justice and unity, not justice and no. I think I said it right. I'm struggling a little bit, y'all, because I had to medicate before this show. So for those who know, you know. But let me continue. Criticism and counter arguments. Criticism. Jones' argument undermines faith by depicting God as indifferent and complicit. Response. Jones emphasizes that questioning divine justice is a necessary step towards authentic faith. Criticism. Human-centric theism diminishes God's sovereignty. Response. Human agency complements divine principles by actualizing justice on earth. Here's my conclusion. Summary. William Mark Jones' Is God a White Racist? Challenges traditional theological frameworks by confronting the intersection of Black suffering and divine justice. His human-centric theism calls for a shift from passive faith to active resistance against systemic racism. My final thoughts are this. Jones does not deny God's existence, but redefines the role of faith, urging Black communities to embrace their power and responsibility in the fight for liberation. Quote for reflection: God's justice is not measured by what he allows, but by what we do in response to it. Here are a quick look at my references. William Mark Jones, Is God a White Racist? James H. Cone, A Black Theology of Liberation. Cornel West, Prophecy, Deliverance. Frantz Fanon, Wretched of the Earth. Historical Case Studies, The Role of the Black Church in the Civil Rights Movement. And hopefully y'all can look into that and you will see what I looked into to gather what it is I was able to gather from this particular presentation, and to look at the work in question. And like I said, this was one of my favorite Black existentialist philosophers. So this was an honor for me to kind of pick apart, you know, his work and see, where I can kind of come to some conclusions on my own, see where I agreed, see where I disagreed, and measure my little minuscule knowledge of how Black existentialism works as a philosophy against one of the originators of making it a philosophy that's now studied in universities, the auspices of Africana critical theory. So, all right. So if y'all want to come in, chop it up for a second, hit the link. We could talk about it for a little minute. Tell me what you thought, what you agree with, what you disagree with. We can get into all of that. I got another one of these coming up this Saturday. And we're going to be talking about free will in light of an omnipotent, omniscient, I'm forgetting my other omni at this time. What is it? Omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. So, in light of that, a God of that magnitude, is free will even a thing at all? I had to do a presentation that I gotta have turned in by tomorrow for my Christian philosophy class. And I decided to make it a presentation on the channel. So see what y'all think of that, because I don't see how, like, the more I look at this, I don't see how we have free will. It's like, it ain't no way around God having foreknowledge of what we gonna do. And if God have foreknowledge of it, then ain't no way for us not to do it. Like, we don't, where's our, like, I'm just, yeah. So that's, I'm gonna get into it though. I'm gonna get into it. But again, y'all can hit the link if y'all want to chop it up. We got Goddess Honest coming back this Thursday. The subject is Own Your Peace. Own your peace. And so I think that's another important and heavy topic, because sometimes owning your peace means you might have to make a little war. It's an Aristotle quote where I may be paraphrasing it a bit, but it says something to the effect of, we make war so that we may live in peace. And so I always found that super interesting, because, like, how else can you live in peace? When you think about it, how else can you live in peace if you're not willing to make war? So if you're going to own your peace, be prepared to make a little war. Hurt some feelings, so to speak. But we got Goddess Honest coming on to tell us how that process could work from her perspective. Hey, that you said it. My man Cedric Ortega said it. War produce peace. So yeah, it's that there it is. But yeah, the sister Goddess Honest is coming on, and she gonna give us her perspective on how one can own one's peace. We got the debate that I'm most looking forward to. We got Vocab Malone, the urban apologist, Vocab Malone, taking on the anonymous Hebrew. Is the church better than Israel? Is the question. So I think that's a provocative way of asking this type of debate. It's going to be an interesting debate. Y'all should enjoy it. That's going to be Saturday the 18th. Earlier that day, we're going to have part of the social media tournament kicking off. Either Dr. Too Sweet versus Michael Everett, or we're going to have our brother Takori versus our brother Gabriel. So, and you say you're gonna study vocab. Hey, we need to put that together. You and vocab. I've been talking to the mad scientist, Mandinka Mali, about throwing something together. So we gonna, yeah, I would love to see you and vocab do y'all thing. But I also, it's some people over here in the Versus series that I would love to see you get in the ring with. So it's a lot going on. He say he game. So hey, y'all know what I gotta do. I gotta hit this old button up here. Man say he game. That'll be some high level type of contest. And so y'all know what I mean when I say the Versus series. Remember I said I want to have like a UFC of debate leagues in the Black YouTube space. You can call me Dana White, and the Craigs could be the Fachita brothers. But we just trying to put together some good debates and good title matches and things of that nature. My man B. Watch say I would argue we have free will as far as every single thing ever existed and created, meaning everything that is not God. Okay. Hit the link if you can, B. Watch. Yes, sir. Yes. Cedric Artega over here. Oh man, I gotta warn some people. But yeah, B Watch, hit the link if you can. Cause I would argue that God's, as crazy as it would sound, God's free will has, for lack of a better term, some limitations just based on, like, if God knows something, once he know it, can he deviate from it? Like, can he change it? And if he change it, then did he actually know it? So don't his very power set provide limitations to the power set itself? So it just seemed like if he knows something, ain't no way around it. Like it has to happen. And so as that reverberates down to us, what chance do we have of making our own decision? It just don't seem. If God know I'm gonna shoot the I was gonna say shoot my bookcase over here, but if he know I'm gonna go over there and tear down my bookcase, I can't not do it. Be washing the building. Go ahead, B.
What up, what up, BNG man? I'm just chilling. I'm here doing a little workout, and watching this Penn State Boise State game too, and then catching your live, of course.
Oh, okay, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
But now, man, what I was saying about the free will thing is that I couldn't parse it out in typing, but essentially I agree that in one instance we don't have ultimate free will, but I mean that's the condition of of everything, meaning that if God is all the omnis as you stated, then by definition God is other than his creation. And I'm not just talking about creation on earth. I'm talking about spiritual realm, angels, demons, devils, whatever you want, all of it, all the above. So by that definition, we can we by God's definition, we know what no one has free will. No created thing has free will, right? But because God is other also, and while involved with his creation, also is outside of time, outside of his creation, outside altogether. It's like something that we really can't fully comprehend, if that makes sense. Then we can say that we have creaturely, we have creaturely free will, meaning that we have the same amount of free will as any uh, spiritual being, any earthly being, um, any if people want to go into the alien beings, you got as you got as much free will as all of the above in that case, because everything that's ever been created, thought of, in existence period has a creator. Even the universe, right? The universe has a creator, so by that definition we have as much free will as the universe itself, because we all are subject to the God of all, who is all omni, who is again other, outside of time itself. If that makes sense.
Got you. I inboxed you my closing statement, a big part of my closing statement in the presentation I got to give for my Christian philosophy class, and
I just in there.
and you ain't got to respond to it on here because I'm gonna do the same presentation on the channel, but definitely hit me back and let me know what you think
Oh,
of
for
that
sure.
statement.
Absolutely.
Were you able to catch the presentation on is God a white racist?
Nah, I missed that one. I missed that
That
one.
was tonight.
I missed that one earlier. I'm just not getting back to the crib, man. It's New Year's Eve, bro. Everybody,
Ah,
it's
okay.
prep. It's
Okay.
prep work.
Yeah. But yeah, go back and look at it. It's only about 14 minutes, and so it's in the middle of this live stream. So
Okay.
check it out and let me know what you think of that as well, because it's all coming from that particular book.
Okay. That's by what's his name? Lloyd.
William Moore Jones.
Yeah. I knew Lloyd was in there. I couldn't remember, the full. I know it was a three word
Mhm.
uh name to it. So okay.
So yeah, peace.
Good stuff.
But Cedric, hit the link if you can. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing the different feedback from this presentation. I've been looking into a lot of Calvinism centric text, a lot of different books and philosophical papers on the concept of free will, be it from a Christian standpoint or otherwise. And as it relates to God, it's like, yeah, I'm
Well, it's interesting, right? Because on the one hand, logically you can say, well, we don't. If like you said, if God is all these omnis, then nobody does. But practically speaking, what's the word I want to say? In for lack of better words, is almost like so what? Meaning that okay, like what can you do? What can you honestly do about it? In the sense that nobody knows what your next move, including yourself, is. Nobody knows your next move for the next year, for the next 3 years. You don't even know I mean, we don't even know we don't even know when our last breath is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So while philosophically we can say, from the standpoint of the creator, that no created thing ever that's ever existed has ultimate free will, like the creator is also to the point. It's like, well, so what? Like, because we're never going to figure out what that looks like in the first place. Like, we don't we don't have the ability to have foreknowledge, so we don't even know what we can articulate it, right? But we don't even know what that ability is. And so, you have people argue, well, God could have stepped in here, God could have stepped in there. How do you know when he did or when he didn't, or how he did it when he did? I think you
Yeah.
might have heard, I don't know if you ever heard the whole proposition, like, if you had a chance to take out Hitler as a baby, that type of deal.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
knowing the foreknowledge that you have. But again, that's based on our limited knowledge, using foreknowledge or using history as a backdrop. So we don't have the foreknowledge of, okay, what's the implications 300 years from now of taking this one person out? Is it good, bad, indifferent? We have no clue.
It's kind of like that. I think it was a TV show, and dude went back in time and killed. Or he stopped Lee Harvey Oswald from killing Kennedy.
Yeah, that's one with James Franco.
With James Franco, yeah,
Yep.
and the older sister, and came back to his time. It was worse. So we got the one and only Cedric Ortega in the building. What's up, Ced? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Peace, family. First of all, let me wish everybody a happy new year. All the best in 2025. Make that money, wealth, and health, and all that good stuff. Right around the corner.
Yes, sir. Likewise to you as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I had to jump on. I'm listening to my good brother B Wash, and there's some questions popping up in my head. The certainty with which the assumption is, hear me good, the certainty with which the assumption of a creator is posited leaves me always baffled. I practice the epistemology and my worldview, if you can call it that, is based in methodological naturalism. So when we hear claims of a God, I tend to ask, okay, well, what's your evidence? How do you reach to the conclusion of a creator? And then within the context of the creator, by the definition of the creator, he knew you before you were planted in your mother's womb, right? So that means your whole Your whole existence is predetermined. God knows the beginning from the end. That leaves me with no agency, right? And so you can't have free will and have a God that knows the beginning from the end. That means that I am predetermined to walk a specific path that the Creator already knows. So either God is omniscient or he's not. Either God knows the beginning from the end or he doesn't. You can't have it both ways. Based on God's total knowledge, what is the objective of prayer? The moment you go to pray, God says, I know. Yes, son, I know. Yeah, I know. You want me to change my mind? I know. I put you there. This situation that you're in, didn't you think I knew it before you were born? So what you think you're doing, asking me to change my mind? You have that power. So when you break down these philosophical concepts, which they are incoherent, and they do not follow a logical pattern, which is within the framework of a God itself. I mean, we're in the Christmas spirit. The Bible condemns the Canaanites, right, for their religious practices, and we engage in a death cult, a ritual sacrifice. You were upset with Molech because Molech requested sacrifices, but Jehovah needs those same sacrifices, and the ultimate one, because he sacrificed his own son. In terms of moral landscape, which father up here would not step in for his child? I'm dying for my kid. My kid ain't dying for me.
I mean, respectfully, I would say that's I don't know. I think you had a few category errors beginning because the framework in which with DMG stated he's in a and let me know if I'm wrong, DMG. You're coming at it from a Christian God point of view, right? And so if that's the framework in which he's stating, then I can't then operate in critique or investigation outside of that framework because then it opens up for something else. That's like me saying, okay, he started with talking of the Christian God, but I want to talk about the God of Hinduism. Well, then we talking past each other because he's already set the framework of the discussion. So now we have to go back to define, okay, what's the God of Hinduism and see if we understand that God and understand how that works. And that's a totally different discussion. So if we're talking in the framework in which he set forth, then we are contingent upon, as he stated, and I'll say short form, all the omnis, because that is the revelation of the Christian God, right? The Judeo-Christian God. So in that framework, then now we deal with, okay, what do you mean by free will? What is free will? And I'm saying in the Judeo-Christian God, that God is, as it stated, as Yahweh, I am, or I will be that which will be. That is something completely other, outside of just human beings. I'm talking about, when I say creaturely, I'm talking about every single thing that's ever been created. So whether it be from the ultimate universe, solar systems, uh, the earth itself from its beginning to single cell life forms to complex life forms, all of the above, all these things. And if you talk about in the spiritual realm, everything in the spiritual realm, from angels to demons to devils to lesser God to Satan himself, all of these being everything is created. So if you're talking about that God, that omni God, it is completely other. And as the created beings, you are operating within the framework of what that foreknowledge of that created God has, which none of us know. It's a similar, like, say you're writing a narrative story, right? Like one of my favorite stories is who still love to read it every now every so often. It's like Lord of the Rings, right? Author J.R.R. Tolkien. Frodo, which is one of the main characters, does not have knowledge of within the framework of the story that J.R.R. Tolkien has to have him meet up with all these other people and create the Fellowship of the Ring and carry the ring to Mordor and fight the goblins and ghouls and all that. Like he has no knowledge of that. The author does, right? But Frodo, as a character in the story, has no knowledge. He's making his decisions. As far as Frodo concerned in that story, right? Everything he does is free will. Again, and that again, all metaphors aren't one to one, but in this story, as we compare it to here, us, everything that we do, we are making our own free decisions on. That's just true. But the other is that God has the foreknowledge of every decision or indecision or thing that will and won't happen. None of us have a quote unquote checklist to come to God, the creator, and say, hey, did you know that this was going to happen? And why didn't you do this? Or did you know, like, we don't have that ability. So again, philosophy wise, it's good to say, okay, yes, God has foreknowledge, right? I don't use predetermined because again, predetermined from a divinity standpoint is different from a humanistic standpoint. But foreknowledge is, I think, a better terminology to use here. But having foreknowledge of everything does not negate that the creatures in that subject are not operating in their own free will because we truly do not know what ultimate, like you said in your example, and I'll close there. um I pray to God to have this happen and that happen, and maybe it does and doesn't happen. So from our standpoint, our prayers were answered with a yay or nay, right? God has already foreknowledge of not only the prayer and everything that's going to happen, but again, as somebody outside of space and time and everything in existence, that's not the same thing as us making a direct call to God to do X, Y, and Z. He has the foreknowledge of everything already. But even within his foreknowledge as creatures, that's why I said, so what? Meaning that does nothing for your day to day life because you don't know what that foreknowledge is. You have no clue.
So,
Hey, y'all, I gotta get out of here, but I want Cedric to respond, and then we'll let B Wash close it out, and maybe we can revisit this.
yeah, we gonna have to
Yeah,
revisit this.
yeah, absolutely.
You started off by stating that I was making a category fallacy, and then you went to Hindu, and so that I didn't understand what was going on there. I was strictly sticking with the Judeo-Christian God, which is the framework in which most of us operate. But that lends to the question itself: how do you know your God is the right God? You mentioned the Hindu gods, so that's a non sequitur there, but something to think about. Now, your presupposition makes me wonder how you practice your epistemology, because you talked about angels, demons, all all characters that are contained within a particular doctrine. And I love the analogy you made to Frodo, because the Bible is exactly that, a fictional book that has no bearing on reality. But how do you quantify or qualify your creator? Because as far as epistemology is concerned, you can provide no evidence for such an entity. So this is a presupposition that I do not adhere to. I can dismiss that because you can't provide any evidence for it. So this is just your belief at play. Your belief doesn't equate to knowledge because there's no evidence there. So what am I to do with all of this made up stuff that is completely arbitrary? Then the bait and switch, foreknowledge or predetermined is the same thing. I am walking a path that someone already knows the outcome. It doesn't give me agency. Whether I assume I have or not, I don't. I really don't have agency because that outcome is already predetermined. So my knowledge of this event, this fact or not, is irrelevant. And by the tenets of your God, I can be fully aware that I have no agency. So it's not like Frodo in the book. We know, based on the narrative that you're carrying, this God knows beginning from the end. He knows what I am going to do. Whether I know it or not, it still eliminates my agency. The illusion of it doesn't give it to me. Prayer then becomes useless because the outcome is predetermined. Whether I want to go left or right, I have to go left because that's predetermined, or for knowledge, however you want to use it. The two are interchangeable, right? Um, uh, Now, in terms of reality, like you said, your God exists outside of time and space. Space, time, and everything therein is reality. So your God, in reality, your God doesn't exist. Now, you're giving this agency all the power over your existence, yet you think that you have agency over your own actions, when your actions, when the end of the road, where you're going to end up at the end of the road, is already known. These two concepts cannot be, they're mutually exclusive. Either you have agency, whereby no one knows what decision I'm going to make, left or right, or God has foreknowledge, where he knows left, right, 2, 4, 6, he knows. So it's either. You can't have it both ways.
You watch, man. You got the final word until we come back and resettle this thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll try to be as brief as I can. But I mean, I think the same thing happened again because you're asking two different questions here, or trying to debate two different points. Because again, if you're going to debate within the Judeo-Christian framework, then you have to take into account the Judeo-Christian understanding of their God, right? Because you can't argue outside of to say, well, you have to prove to me that your God exists. Well, you came into a conversation that was already set respectfully in the framework of the Judeo-Christian God. So that is a separate conversation. If you want to say you have to prove your existence of your God versus the Hindu gods, etc. And I only gave that example to show that the framework of this conversation in particular was based on that topic and that topic alone.
Okay.
Now, if there is a different topic in regards to prove the existence of your God versus the other gods, we can have that discussion. Now, framing it back to the original point of the discussion is within the framework of the Judeo-Christian God. That's not, anything what I said is still not a problem, because we understand the Yahweh of being other than every single thing that has ever been created in existence. Because no matter what, whether it be angels, whether it be people, whether it be a frog, whether it be a single cell life form, whether it be the most complex life form, whether it be the universe in of itself that is still expanding, and the galaxies therein, all of which have a creator. So if the creator does not have a creator, then by definition, he exists outside of time, space, and reality, or the reality as we know it in ourselves. Now, I understand the different digs that you may have taken while saying, fairy tale God and existing outside of reality, and that's fine. That's that's can be child's play here and there. But the point being is that you can't take a discussion that has already have a framework and then try to operate outside the framework and then prove to say, no, now prove to me that this is your God is better than this guy. Well, that wasn't the point of the discussion. That wasn't the point of the topic at hand. So again, we can later point.
Yeah,
I was addressing. Hold on, brother. Hold on.
Let them finish, Sid.
Yeah. Just following DMG format. I'm closing out. And so as anything, man, DMG appreciate the quick build. As always, good brother. I'm gonna take a look at your stuff. Good brother Ortega, until the next time we had the conversation, and build the framework of the discussion, that's totally fine. Seems like a good, respectful brother, even with the little digs here and there. That's still cool. Seems like a respectful brother. But yeah, other than that, man, everybody have a great New Year's Eve. Be safe, be merry. I know about to pour something strong in this cup, and if my lady looking at me right there, maybe some other things happen too. So that be to be continued.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate
you know how I'm trying to bring in the New Year, brother.
You heard me. You feel me?
Listen, but yeah, hey man, I appreciate both of you brothers having a quick build, and like I said, hopefully we can build to something a little bigger in terms of the Versus series. And that's, hey family, I'm trying to tell y'all, the Versus series is live in 2025.
Yeah,
and something could break out at any time. This was not planned. This was not preconceived. I don't have foreknowledge like God, but we still made something happen. You understand? Shout out to my man Cedric Ortega and B Wash for jumping on. Shout out to y'all for walking with me through this Black existentialist perspective on Black suffering and divine justice. I've been wanting to do that book, Is God a White Racist, for some time. Like I said, William R. Jones is one of my favorite Black existentialist authors, thinkers, philosophers, etc. So I'm gonna be breaking down some stuff from Lewis R. Gordon, Franz Fanon, Ralph Ellison. I'm gonna try to go down the spectrum, get off into that, and let y'all know kind of how I kind of see things and rock with things from time to time. But in the meantime, y'all can always look forward to engagement like this from two very intelligent brothers willing to get down respectfully without all the pomp and circumstance that can tend to bring a little bit of negativity to the community. Just gonna get down to the information, stomp that thing out, and get back to being respectful Black folks and making it do what it do. So I appreciate y'all handling your business right quick. Any last words from me there, y'all? I'll start with Sid.
I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the conversation, B. Walsh. I got to give you credit because I was just addressing a couple of points that I was hearing from the chat. So it was indeed a bit all over the place. Next time we will have a much more structured conversation. I appreciate talking with you though. And DMG, you know I follow you, my brother. Yeah, I support you. And we're going to build something in the new year. I like this environment of debating, and the way we are doing it is with some class and with some tact. You know, it is debating, so it is a sport where you're going to hit your little shots, but respectful and intellectual discourse is what I'm about. So I appreciate the environment, I appreciate the arena. I'm gonna jump off now. I'm heading over because I get another conversation going over there. I'll see y'all.
No doubt. Hey, where you headed again?
To Mandinka, Mali, JJ 7000.
Shout out to JJ. All right, bro.
I'm having a conversation with James over there. I'll see you.
Okay. All right, bro. All right, B Wash. Once again, last word is on you.
Nah, man. Man, just everybody have a good, safe, happy New Year. 2025, all the way live. And as always, a paradigm shift 314. You know what it is, DMG, what's understood and got to be explained. Been
That's
rocking
fact.
with you since I've been rocking the rock. So it's all good.
That's fact. Hey, man. Hey, they said it, family. Again, the Versus series is live in 2025. We got Vocab Malone, Anonymous Hebrew, January 18th. The Versus series, social media title goes on the line. The same weekend, we're going to have 2 first-round matchups, and then on the 25th, we're going to have our final. So the Versus series is live in 2025, January 4th. Before all that kick off, Anonymous Hebrew say he's sharpening his sword for Courtney Thompson. I'm talking about we got the smartest of the smart, the most intellectual of the intellectual coming over here and putting a demonstration down. because the Versus series is where legends are made, and this is where people gotta come to get ranked. We have the reigning, defending, undefeated, unequal, undisputed world champion, Pandemic African, went through the grueling tournament, earned his title as the world champion. Ain't nobody give it to him. Ain't nobody make it happen through any ominous means. Shout out to Black Jesus Minister. But he earned it. And the animated assassin submission sensation is representing the shift as the champ in an amazing way. And we're about to have our social media champion, and that's going to be the workhorse. That thing can be defended at any point, at any time. You make a challenge, they accept it. It's going to be like on wrestling when they be like, get me a referee. Me, Classic Craig, Ratchet Craig, Sage, somebody going to come in and moderate that thing. Because they're going to be like, get me a moderator, and somebody going to have to come and do it. So y'all just seen it for yourself. We was about to have a versus series, an impromptu versus series matchup against two of the best. B-Wash, Cedric Ortega. Because this is where the real debaters want to come and debate. Shout out to Ratchet Craig and Classic Craig for coming up with the versus series and allowing me to put it on display. So we're going to bring it to y'all again. We want this to be the UFC of debate leagues in these Black YouTube spaces. Me and Dana White both bald-headed. I can be the Dana White. The Craigs is the Fachita brothers. And we finna do our damn thing. So y'all keep rocking with us, man. Shout out to TKO, to Corey in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to my queen upstairs, because I'm about to come up there and make sure I coronate you. You know what I mean? Shout out to my sister, Not a Black, same mama, same daddy. Shout out to everybody that be rocking with us. Mama B, salute. We're going to be Black at it again this Thursday. Goddess Honest, Own Your Peace, social media tournament, January 18th and 19th. Vocab Malone versus Anonymous Hebrew, January 18th. Courtney Thompson versus Anonymous Hebrew, January 4th. Y'all ain't getting this nowhere else. Nowhere else. You understand? Paradigm Shift TV 314, the Versus series, the whole effing show, DMG, the Craigs, and the crew. Keep looking out and supporting the GT perspective. Hit that Cash App, $ DMGDAPOET. Support your boy. We out of here. That's peace. We're going to be Black at it again, though. We're going to leave you with our man, the phenom, the biblical warrior, the musical messiah, the world's most dangerous Bible believer, Neo. One love, ladies and gentlemen. We out of here, y'all.
Yeah. I know I got about 30 seconds to make y'all feel it before y'all turn it off these days. That I might not even release this. But I be doing this shit for me. Help me get through. I feel like I give until I can't, but most don't recognize until I ain't. Blood on them covers, she hoping paint. Sorry, mama, but it ain't. This world took a toll on me, and everyone that say they love me always seem to fall on me. The same one that call me great, treat me like I ain't shit. I read between the lines, it's written all over your eyes. I see the disappointment in the eyes of the ones who want me dead, but I ain't never been scared. I tried to get there. Sometimes I wonder if I survived or did I die on that ride to that hospital. Demons all around me, I am not mental. This game of life, it is not simple. Last time I was happy, I was popping pills.